his career. An unusual field, Mike. Relative unknowns on top.
Well, the big names were here, Denny. The Anthonys, the Holmans, the Webbers, but they're not still around. The 5 that we do have left are relatively unknown, and in our opening match, we have John Weltzien versus Tony Marrese.
And to the number 3 slot, a talented left-hander from Nicholasville, Kentucky, Mike Fairchild. Perhaps the top amateur player in the world right now, Rick Steelsmith out of Wichita, Kansas. And on top, looking for his first national title, is left-hander Brad Snell. Now, we've discussed the fact that these players are relatively unknown. Let's take a look at them individually in their games.
The first bowler we're going to look at is John Weltzien from Illinois. John is a 5-step player, very quick steps, keeps the ball very straight, hits the pocket a lot, doesn't beat himself, has the most experience of anybody in the field today.
Out of the number 4 position, Tony Marrese, who sets an ABC 3-game record with an 8.24 on Thursday night. He's obviously got talent.
Well, he obviously was hot them 3 games. He also had our only 300 game of the week in the Masters this week. 5-step player, very soft turn, slow speed or moderate speed, which makes for better carry. He has to win 4 games today. Pretty tough task.
Perhaps one of the most talented collegiate players. Just a couple of years ago, Mike Fairchild bowls out of the number 3 slot.
Never heard of him before, but we've heard of him now. He's a 5-step player also. Another left-hander, as all of them did very well this week. Kind of gets the swing a little behind his back. Has a tendency to steer the ball a little bit, but he did very well this week. He wants to go on the tour. If he could win today, $43,000 would help him be able to do that.
The top collegiate player in the nation, Rick Steelsmith, will bowl out of the number 2 position. Unlimited potential for this youngster.
Well, he's the most impressive of the 5 bowlers that I've seen here today. He's done everything on the collegiate level. He's the only non-PBA member in the field. Really lifts it. Plus, he's accurate. Plus, he seems to be totally unafraid, Denny. Watch out for him today.
That's right, the youngsters. They don't know what it's like to lose. And on top, Brad Snell, a player who has had some success in his career, but obviously if he wins today, well, it'll be history in the making.
Well, he's won 8 PBA regional events, but never even made the top 24 in a national event. A 5-step player again, very deep knee bend there, has put the ball in the pocket this week. He has a chance to win the ABC Masters crown and exemption into the Firestone. It's got to be his dream.
Well, it's a match play tournament, and match play is, in essence, what we'll be going to in just a couple of moments. Here from Niagara Falls, New York, the finals of the $215,000 ABC Bud Light Masters. Stay tuned.
It was a quiet night until the party animal came to town.
There's a super party animal. His name is Bud McKenzie. A red hot nut and a cold Bud Light puts him in a party frenzy.
He's Bud McKenzie, Bud Light's original party animal.
Oh, yeah.
Bud, don't be a stranger.
This sports challenge is brought to you by Desenex, the classic cure for athlete's foot. The Cotton Bowl, 1954, Rice versus Alabama. And number 42 of Alabama is suffering as Dick Magel of Rice runs wild. Here's Magel off on what looks like another touchdown run. But watch number 42 come off the bench to make the tackle. The Desenex challenge? Who made this famous 12th man tackle in 1954?
Itching, cracking, peeling. These are the symptoms of athlete's foot that can stop you in your tracks. But Desenex actually cures athlete's foot and puts you back in the running. Desenex, the classic cure for athlete's foot.
Number 42, the 12th man, Tommy Lewis of Alabama. Here's the famous play again. It would have been an easy touchdown for Magel, but Tommy Lewis came off the bench to take him down. The officials gave Magel the touchdown. The man who made the Cotton Bowl's famous 12th man tackle, Tommy Lewis of Alabama.
And welcome back, everybody, to the Niagara Falls Convention Center. Denny Schreiner along with Mike Durbin, opening match. And there you see it. Tony Marrese will start the match, bowling out of the number 4 slot against John Weltzien. And we see that Weltzien leads by 29.
High through the heart of the pins, leaves the 3-6-10. And John is giving him a chance. tough spare here.
Mike, what about the difference in bowling a championship finals in an arena atmosphere such as what we have here at the convention center as opposed to maybe a normal bowling center? Is there any difference?
Well, seeing I never bowled in the finals of the Masters of myself, I imagine there would be somewhat of a difference the first game. Just as you're getting used to your surroundings. And, wow, not the way he played it exactly, but he got the spare nevertheless.
Weltzien operating at a 202 clip at this point. Leads by 26, so it is, I guess, crunch time for Tony Marrese.
Well, the 8th, 9th, and 10th frames, they always say, they teach you when you're first coming up that they're the important ones, so you better get it going now.
Tony Marrese's lifetime earnings, $25,625. Highest previous finish in the Masters was 63rd last year in Las Vegas.
And trips the 6 out there, keeps himself alive. Right now, in the 9th frame of this match, he's going to throw, I mean, all the next shots are going to be important. But this is the most important shot he's thrown all week right now, because if he doesn't strike right now, he virtually has no chance to win this match. If he strikes here, he not only sets himself up for the 10th frame, but he cuts that 26-pin lead down to 16.
And he's also struggled just a touch on lane 27, right. The left-hand lane.
Weltzien going at a 202 pace if he spur struck out. And Marrese, if he strikes out, can get 206. For the double. Oh, and one of his best shots and leaves a solid 7.
Well, that's got to be a disheartening shot because Marrese gathered himself and threw probably his best shot of the match and left the ringing 7.
It's just, unfortunately, part of the sport of bowling, and it's just a bad break. Still has an outside chance, but it's very outside right now.
That's the game, the part of bowling that I guess drives all the professionals crazy, and the amateurs as well, probably.
See these gray hairs here? I mean,
you throw an absolutely perfect shot under pressure, and in a clutch situation, you end up having to make a spare.
This is the shot that left the solid 7-pin. Marrese playing way outside the first arrow. The ball finishing hard, and watch your 4-pin, second from the left, as it whistles right around the 7 and never got close to it. It never got close to it. Well, seeing if he marks in these last 2 frames is going to move on to bowl Fairchild. Oh, and that's just what he didn't want to do. Leaves the dinner bucket. Suddenly that 26-pin lead is down to 22. And he's going to force himself to make this.
With the tough cross alley spare.
Tremendous conversion. He switched balls and angles and shot it from the extreme left.
That used to be a cross alley spare, but for the contemporary player now, Mike, many of those left side spares are shot from the left side.
Well, especially when you have the opportunity for a chop, as we saw with Weltzien. We see the score there, as he's ahead by 22 pins. Basically needs, if he got 9 on the first ball, that would be enough.
Tony Marrese obviously eyeing the huge ABC scoreboard. Knows what he needs to hang in there, and Weltzien would like to just slam the door on him right here.
I said if he got 9, that'd be enough, but actually if he got 9 and missed the spare, we can have a tie. He needs to make this. He leaves the 2-4-5, and he needs to make this spare.
See John lamenting a little bit to himself, realizing he pretty much had the match in hand, and now he opened the door just a touch.
Let's see if he switches balls again. He is. He's switching balls, and he just got practice on this spare with the 8-pin, which is tougher with the 8-pin the frame before, so it should make it easier. He's shooting it from the left side again. If he makes this, he wins. If he misses, Marrese could strike out and win. And he's got it on the left.
And he knew it all along as he breathes a sigh of relief. And there you see a dejected Tony Marrese. And there you you take a look at the two opponents, and they'll be coming back here in game number 2. Stay tuned.
Days to check out our major appliances right in your own home. Really work them over. And if you're not satisfied, we'll take them back. And Satisfaction Guaranteed is an addition to our warranties. Satisfaction Guaranteed. It's new from GE.
Watch that Bobcat stalk his prey. He's always as smooth as can be, like Genesee beer. Jenny's brewed in just one place, so that naturally smooth taste never varies. Enjoy the great outdoors with Genesee beer.
The great outdoors in a glass, Genesee beer.
I'm a real beer drinker, and Jenny Light's a good-tasting beer. It's the best light beer I've tasted. The flavor's there. Where did you hide the calories?
What do pros do when they miss a shot?
Say something, Barry.
See the quotable notables in action when ESPN takes you inside the PGA Tour. Wednesdays at 6:30 Eastern.
And we're nearing the end of match number 2. Both players with 4-baggers. John Weltzien opened the game with 4 in a row, and then was countered by Mike Fairchild, who struck from the 2nd through the 5th. And it's a very tight match indeed. Now the pressure is back on John Weltzien, Mike.
Yeah, he was cruising right along with a big lead there, and suddenly a string of strikes by Fairchild has put some heat on Weltzien.
At one stage, he led by 30 pins?
Yep. 31 pins he led by in the 3rd frame. Light, and gets the wall shot.
A wall shot, I guess, is as good as any other, huh, Mike?
Oh,
it's probably better than a solid hit in some cases.
I think so. And Weltzien, with his speed, lives on this type of shot. As we see the ground level, Weltzien right behind the ball. See that very little turn. Lifts with the fingers. Now watch the head pin as it goes to the sideboard, Denny. The ball will deflect to the right. The head pin goes to the left and gets the 4, 5, and 7.
So the head pin really is the key pin in that wall shot.
Oh, absolutely. The speed that pin will go to the sideboard and come back is the key.
And there you see how tight this match really is.
To take the lead. 4 pin. Just a little tight on that left lane, and he has to finish on that lane. Very quick feet. The swing a little away from his body. He points it up. The ball's not hooking at all. Now it sets. And watch the 2 pin. 3rd from the left. Goes right around, gets the 7, but not the 4. And he's saying, come on, trip it. Leans to the left, what indicates he knows it's going left. Keeps himself going at a 2:15 pace, but he trails by 3 pins.
And looking at his reaction after that shot in the 8th, I think you get the idea that John knows he is in a real dogfight here. He would have loved to have doubled there in the 8th.
Well, he knows that Fairchild now is on a strike, up by 3 pins, going to his favorite of the 2 lanes, and he's thrown every ball in the pocket since the opening frame.
Mike Fairchild bowled in his first Masters last year, made the cut, finished in a tie for 33 through 48th place with a 1-2 match play record, looking for a big double here on the right-hand lane, and perhaps the speed got a little quick, and he's got himself a problem on the right side of the lane.
Just didn't get through that shot like he had some of the others. Left the 3-5-6, not an easy spare. We saw Tony Marrese miss it in the opening match. He doesn't lose any count, though. If he can make this spare, he maintains his 3-pin lead.
In match play, in the match play portion of this tournament, Mike, spares really are just as critical as strikes, aren't they?
Well, when you're keeping that match within a mark like he is, it is very important.
Why do you always wince on these spares, Mike? What is we?
Well, it looked like he might chop the 3 off the 5 there, and I didn't know whether he was going to or not. We're getting to the 9th frame. 3 pins.
Fairchild leads by 3 at this point. And he'll obviously finish on his best lane, 28, so he's saying in his mind right at this point, I need to strike on 27.
Right. Well, it's the only defense. If he doesn't strike here, then Weltzien will have the opportunity to get up and strike out and shut him out. Good shot, but the 10-pin did not fall. And Weltzien seemingly impervious to everything going on.
I'd like to have a check of his heart rate right about now. Has a tendency to go up a touch, doesn't it?
Are you saying it's like a duck? Is that what you're saying? Calm on the outside, the feet going a million miles an hour underneath.
Hey, don't let that look fool you any. These players are really
You see
struggling.
Fairchild there, even on this spare, Fairchild showing some experience here. He collects himself before he makes every shot. I just noticed that, but that's very impressive. And I noticed that Steelsmith, who we'll see in the next match, does the same thing. Weltzien is asking for another re-rack that he had. That's Ed Bauer, the ABC tournament director of the Masters, and he has granted the re-rack. What the player will do in that case then is he'll say, hey, I don't like it because the 3 pins off or the 5 pin or whatever he thinks is wrong. Looks good to me. In fact, it looks like the 5 pin is a touch to the right, which would aid him. If he came in light, he's going to get that 5 out.
Got to be a little bit of an edge. And well, if he strikes here in the 9th, the pressure is really on Mike Fairchild.
This has been the better of the 2 lanes for John. Perfect.
Well, that's a clutch shot in a very difficult situation, but John Weltzien has been making big shots all week long. You don't get to the finals of the Masters without really fine-tuning your game.
We have all sorts of possibilities right now, Dan. We could have a win by Weltzien, a win by Fairchild. We could have a tie. A number of different things can still happen in this match. The situation is, though, 177 to 175 in the 8th frame. Fairchild is up by 2 pins, but Weltzien has the strike working, can take the lead with the first strike in the 10th frame, and he has not struck on this lane since the 4th frame. You hear the birds chirping above. For the double and the lead. He's there, and he carries.
Big shot for John Weltzien, who has put himself in the driver's seat, and there you see Mike Fairchild, who was lamenting a little bit.
He knew it as soon as he let it go, and he is running up from the word go. Running back saying, carry. Yeah. This one, though, wins it for sure. This locks it out if he strikes here.
Mike mentioned the birds. There are a number of sparrows who have housed themselves here in the Niagara Falls Convention Center.
You know, the way he ran that first one in the 10th out, I never like to see that so much, because so many times you use up all that emotion on the first shot and you can't get yourself together for the second. We'll see if that happens to John.
And this is the key that locks up the door.
Come on. It didn't, though. He's got himself together.
Well, John Weltzien putting the finishing touches on, if he strikes, a 235 game. Weltzien already defeating Tony Marrese in the opening match, 195-176, as he continues to climb that ladder.
And it's a tough break for Fairchild. He bowled well, the solid 7 in the 6th frame. Left the 10 pin in the 9th frame, where he could have had a chance to get up and strike out and win his own match. But you got to hand it to Weltzien, boy. He started strong and finished strong. Kind of fell asleep a little bit there in the middle, but
John Weltzien starting to get loose, too. You win a couple of games, and that'll do wonders for your confidence. 235, nope, not quite, but 234 is more than enough. There you see the handshake as Weltzien will advance, and boy, this next match will be a dandy against Rick Steelsmith.
Why spend hours cleaning and scrubbing windows and washing off baked-on dirt on your car? Use the new Turbojet water-driven rotary brush. Insert a soap stick into the handle, attach Turbojet to your garden hose, and its turbine mechanism will scrub your windows and clean your car easily and rapidly. Turbojet also comes with a special jet tip that quickly rinses away soap and dirty water. To clean almost anything around your house, get the new Turbojet water-driven rotary brush. Special extensions are also available. Turbojet is the most amazing cleaning machine you've ever used.
The Great American Face. Rugged, distinctive. The Great American Razor. Atra. Solid. Pivots for closeness. The Great American Face deserves the Great American Shave. Atra. Only from Gillette.
And welcome back to Niagara Falls. And there you see some of the players who didn't quite get to the telecast.
Jimmy Pritz just missing. Rod Pasteur is a good-looking young left-handed bowler. Mike Albee finished 17th. Janello, Gary Dickinson, a name from almost the past anymore. Ray Perez, another nice-looking young player.
How about that 53-year-old Tita Semez playing with those youngsters, finishing 12th?
And he bowled dynamite. I mean, he just didn't bowl any bad matches. He got beat when some good bowling, or we'd be looking at him today.
Weltzien looking for a double and an 11-pin lead on lane 28. We're in the semifinal match.
Right there. Leaves the weak 10.
John's very animated. Every time he comes back from the approach, Mike, he seems to do something that basically describes what he did perhaps wrong on the last shot. Such a mental game. Huh? You're always constantly trying to figure out what you've done right and what you've done wrong.
Right. One pin, 59-58, both on spares, heading to the 5th frame.
And the loser of this match is going to go away with a few dollars in his pocket, $20,000 or more. John Weltzien ahead by a pin as he will shoot now in the 5th frame. The only double of the match provided by Rick Steelsmith in the 2nd and the 3rd after he opened. He missed a 10-pin.
High on the Brooklyn. Leaves the 6-pin. He'll settle for that on that shot.
Mike, is it my imagination or is John Weltzien slowing down a little bit? Everything, in other words, each shot, he's slowing down a little bit.
He's shaking that wrist, and I wonder, we had a reasonably long break between the 2nd and the 3rd game, and I wonder if that wrist has stiffened up and he can't get it loosened up again. At the 6-pin, no trouble. Swing goes away from the body, and he does not correct it. He just kept it going in that direction. Normally, he does what we call realigning it. In other words, he'll bring it back in and send it towards his target. That time, it just kept going left all the way through. But he pulled it enough to get it over at least.
Bowling has become such a physical game with the urethane, and you have to really hit that ball and try and hook it, and wrists and hands wear out much sooner than they used to, huh, Mike?
They sure do. To even the match. Oh, what a pretty shot.
Mike, I think the one thing you have to be most impressed about with Mr. Steelsmith is the fact that he's able to really arc that ball and get it to come back and hit on a tough condition.
The high backswing. Look at the concentration in the eyes. The head very still, similar to Marshall Holman. Then the snap of the wrist like Amleto Monticelli. And the knee, pretty good bend right there. It comes up after he lets it go. And notice what he's doing right now. He did not get up there until he has thought through what he wants to do. I mean, he's got the poise and maturity of a seasoned veteran in his first television appearance. To take the lead right here, the dinner bucket. Lost that ball, just a freckle.
You talk about the poise of Rick Steelsmith. I think obviously that's directly related to his experience bowling collegiately. The college programs all over the country continuing to improve and churn out just very talented young players.
As he lost that ball in the follow-through, did you see it go a little bit left that time? The ball doesn't quite get the turn and the revs that it needed to make it up to the 1-3 pocket.
No, we've talked about the fact that John Weltzien has fast feet, but so does Rick Steelsmith, doesn't he?
He does, but Steelsmith has that high backswing as opposed to Weltzien's. To make the spare, tough spare, no problem.
You're more impressed, I think, Mike Durbin, sometimes with the conversion of spares than you are with the strike shots.
Well, those spares can be difficult. I mean, I know because I've missed a few of them.
You never left the bucket in your entire career, did you?
Yeah, a couple times.
With all that hook?
Yeah, right.
Just kidding, Mike. A 3-time Firestone Tournament of Champions champion. He's the only player in the history of professional bowling to accomplish that. Hall of Famer.
To even the match. High. Trips the 7 out, but leaves the 4. Weltzien falls behind by a pin.
Is it my imagination, Mike, or when you get to the semifinal game with the title game just above you, does your philosophy change a little bit? Meaning, is there more pressure at that point?
No, I don't think so. Maybe there is because there's more money and this is the ABC Masters title, but I've been in that situation several times before. And when I was going in that situation, I just felt that I was on a roll and I was going to win. I mean, when I started winning 1 or 2 matches on television, I just didn't think I was going to lose. And I don't know whether John's thinking that way right now, but that's how he should be thinking.
John, of course, defeating Tony Marrese, 195-176 in the opening game. Then he knocked off left-hander Mike Fairchild 234 to 217, and we are in game number 3 of the ABC Bud Light Masters.
7th frame, John down by 1 pin. He's had only 1 strike so far, and still only has 1. And he's just lost that little bit of zip that he had that last game with that little extra speed. And I really think the wrist is bothering him. He's shaking his head even as he stands up there to shoot the 7th pin. But he's still in the match if he makes this spare. John doesn't miss many spares.
And he didn't miss many all week long, as things can't get much closer than they are. Steelsmith leads by 2.
My place or your place?
My place, of course. My place has delicious food and cozy dining. Fresh homemade pizza with a variety of toppings oozing with mozzarella. Hot and cold subs, spaghetti, rigatoni, stromboli. And my place has specials like mouth-watering manicotti and fresh veal parmesan. Plus, you can eat and relax in the dining room, or My Place has takeout available with a convenient drive-through window.
Let's go.
Where?
My Place, of course, with 5 convenient locations.
In here, the right temperature is 74 degrees. In here, 66 is about right. Nobody in here. Why heat or cool it? Now you can choose temperatures room by room. You don't need more than 1 furnace or central air conditioner. You just need Home Zone. That's Home Zone. Available only from your Carrier dealer. Call for details.
Friday, sports' greatest moments are on ESPN. 1970, a knockout year for Joe Frazier. The year Willis Reed led the Knicks to an NBA title. A magic year in sports.
It was just a great year.
Then pro football's greatest coach is remembered with a look back at Vince Lombardi's Green Bay Packer dynasty. There's only one place these guys find glory, on Championship Wrestling. A Super Bouts thriller rounds out the action. All Friday on ESPN.
And there you see 3 very prominent gentlemen concerning this championship. To your far left is Roger Tessman, and in the middle, Dave Brunette, sports marketing for Bud Light, and on the right, Ed Sweeney, the president of the American Bowling Congress. And I think all 3 of those gentlemen are enjoying the fact that we're here in Niagara Falls for the ABC Bud Light Masters Championship. Rick Steelsmith leads by 2, and he'll be shooting in the 7th frame on the right-hand lane.
Here it comes. It gets the light hit. Maintains that 2-pin lead. Well, it was a funny hit. The pin's just fighting to get down on that one.
Yeah, it's because of the generations involved, the revolutions. Boy, he is really hitting that bowling
I
ball.
couldn't count up how many revs he's getting on that ball fast it goes down there.
You know, like somebody told me he has more revs on one shot than you had in the entire Masters tournament one year.
As he gets that light in, we don't get to see him all falling.
Oh, my goodness. He is playing a game with which most of us are unfamiliar. But it's still a very tight match. He hasn't really opened up any operating room at this point.
2 pins to make it 12. And gets it.
And most of the crowd that you hear cheering for Rick Steelsmith is comprised of the ACUI college players who also bowled this past week in Niagara Falls.
Now, John, during the commercial break, I mentioned to Ernie Slago, who was sitting right in front of us, the lanes were breaking down a little bit, and he was going to move a little bit, which I think is the wrong move. I really think that he should try and increase the speed, but he's out there. We'll see what will happen.
He trails by 12 here in the 8th frame. Time is running out.
Well, he knew what he was doing.
But with a high hard one, Mike, I think that's probably the hardest he has thrown the ball of the entire telecast.
That's his game, though. See, the speed and straight shot is he asked for a re-rack here in the 9th frame. The head kind of dips down the higher backswing right over about the 9th board with a lot of speed, and the ball doesn't hook at all. But look at the difference in the revolutions between his ball and Steelsmith's ball. But there are 12 pins difference in the match. We're in the 9th frame, and he's got to strike here. He can cut it to 2, and John knows that. I mean, John is an experienced player. He's getting himself together, and I really think he's going to make a good shot right here.
John Weltzien re-racking on lane 27. And here in the 9th, needs a double.
And, oh boy, it looked like it was going to trip that 4, and it didn't do it as he grabs his wrist. Well, tough situation right now.
Very tough break indeed.
As he goes just a little bit high, we watch the 2-pin, 3rd from the left, goes to the sideboard. Looked like it was going to get both of them. Oh, I'm sorry, the 10-pin standing there too. I couldn't see that from my angle. Boy, he is in big trouble now.
I think that's why he feels like that. Obviously, the worst break of the tournament. Tried to fit that ball in a little bit. And left the 410. And now only has a possible 194, Mike.
From my angle, I couldn't see the 10-pin at all. It was obscured by the rack down there.
Mm-hmm. Really, it didn't look like that bad a shot to me. Maybe a solid 4, okay, but without the 10-pin. So Rick Steelsmith
in a commanding position right now.
Try and seize the moment, as it were, looking for a 3-bagger.
Up 24 pins can increase it to 34. And does.
Possible 238 for the 22-year-old collegiate player of the year.
And that locks it up right now. Basically, all he has to do is stay behind the foul line and keep the ball in the building.
Rick Steelsmith, born in Abilene, Kansas. Hometown now, Wichita, Kansas, representing Wichita State University. His collegiate eligibility all finished up 4 times, Mike, an All-American.
Pretty impressive bowling.
And obviously a member of Team USA. He'll be competing in the FIQs. Oh, right. He's about as loose as you can get right now, Mike Durbin. He's a dangerous player, and I'm sure that Brad Snell is standing by. He's in the number 1 slot, probably not envying the fact that he's going to have to come and play this right-hander.
Well, he doesn't have to beat what he's bowling now. He has to beat what he bowls the next game. John Weltzien, we see, is going to finish up with $20,000.
And add 600 for matches. And coming up in just a couple of moments, there you see Brad Snell. He'll take on Rick Steelsmith for the championship.
Hi. I've been looking all over for this terrific video cassette I heard about. It's called Not So Great Moments in Sports. Like one scene is where Billy Martin tries to give an ump a shoe shine.
That's a fantastic video. My favorite part is where John McEnroe plays tennis with his orange juice.
I hear there's a scene where Reggie Jackson protests to Gaylord Perry spitball with a visual aid.
Yeah. I love it where a kicker tries to play quarterback. Not So Great Moments is 45 minutes of the funniest sports footage I've ever seen.
Great, so you have it.
No, it's not in video stores yet.
Now what do I do?
You get it free.
Let me understand. You don't have the video, but you're going to tell me how to get it free.
Right.
Am I missing something?
You're missing out on Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated? I love SI. What does Sports Illustrated have to do with it?
You get Not So Great Moments in Sports free with your paid subscription.
Oh, I let my subscription run out.
Well, now's a perfect time to go for it again. You get 25 weeks of America's best sports coverage, including the Pro Football Spectacular with all the picks, previews, and profiles, and the beautiful swimsuit issue.
I like that.
Everybody likes that. You even get a handy NFL schedule.
And Not So Great Moments in Sports?
You get it all.
I do? How?
Just call Sports Illustrated's toll-free number.
Wait a minute. All that great footage has got to be worth a fortune.
I ought to know.
Yeah, I'll bet they raised the price of the magazine, right?
It's over 47% off the cover price. Just 3 installments of $9.89 each. You can even put it on a credit card.
No kidding. I get 25 weeks of SI, including the Pro Football Spectacular, the football schedule, the swimsuit issue, and the video cassette free.
You get it all. Just call 1-800-621-7000.
I gotta get to a phone. What's that number again?
Here, 1-800-621-7000.
Hi. Have you heard of Not So Great Moments in Sports?
And there you see the final of the last game, 237-184. An impressive victory for Rick Steelsmith, who threw 8 strikes in his opening game. And there you see the prize list. John Weltzien will finish third, win $20,600, the $600 coming courtesy of the 6 matches that he won. The loser of this match, no less than $26,000, and on top, Mike Durbin, $43,000.
Not a bad payday.
And here is the young gentleman who would like to collect that big paycheck. He's our top seed, 27-year-old Brad Snell, who John Weltzien tabs as the best regional player in the Midwest. And right now, a red-hot Rick Steelsmith, still in college, mind you, is bowling for the ABC Masters Championship.
And I'm amazed here. Snell has chosen to finish on lane 27, that he did not strike one time in the practice balls, which leads me to think one thing, that he does not want to finish the match and have to strike to win. He wants to get his score posted first and let the other guy have to beat him.
Steelsmith with a good opening shot, but leaves the half-10.
Which he did last time, and he missed it. See, I just think that Snell's in a defensive posture already, mentally and physically.
Well, if you don't have a good shot, what are you supposed to do?
You have to go with finish on the lane that you're hitting better. And I'm assuming he's going to hit the right lane better than the left, and maybe I'm wrong.
Well, there you see him. It's a calculated risk. Steelsmith nailing the 10-pin in the first frame here of the championship game.
Boy, the kid appears to have no weaknesses. He's got the sound physical game with a lot of revs on the ball, makes his spares, seems to have the poise. There's no chinks in the armor here, I'll tell you.
And he likes to play golf, which obviously raises his stock in my book.
Puts him right on the tour automatically, doesn't it? Brad Snell on lane 28. Brings it in for the strike.
Yeah, and I'll guarantee you he is breathing a little bit easier at this point. Boy, they had a tremendous match last night to find out who would be the top seed player, and Snell just hung in there, and threw a big last game to nail down the top spot. Only averaged 207, but he won 6 consecutive matches, and that's the key.
That's what the Masters is all about once you get into the match play portion of the tournament. Now, he never hit the 1-2 pocket in his practice balls on this lane.
Might want to mention the fact that he qualified as a state representative, too, so he had to beat people in Illinois just to get to this tournament.
And he must know what he's doing.
Oh, it never fails, Mike. Every time you say something like that, they disprove your theory, which is great, though. We love to see it, right?
Oh, hey, Brad Snell's a PBA member, and if he wins this particular tournament, he will win a 3-year exemption into the Firestone Tournament of Champions. Steelsmith, however, is not a PBA member. If he wins the tournament, there's no exemption.
And Rick has already said, I will graduate in December and hopefully get my card and get everything in order, and I'll start the tour next January. Oh. Cool as a cucumber, this 22-year-old right-hander.
Watch this shot. Look at the swing. Straight, high. Little open shoulder there, but he brings it right straight back in line and snaps it like Amleto Monticelli at that point there. And watch this ball finish into the 1-3 pocket.
Whew. That's exciting, isn't it? The interesting note here is he bowled the regular ABC tournament last week and only shot 1690 all events, which is like averaging 185.
That's for 9 games. To even the match. Oh, boy.
Yeah, times have changed. Big double there for Rick Steelsmith in the second and the third. Just gives you an idea of how talented the collegiate players are today, how quickly the programs have grown. They're all scholarship players now, and the programs are growing, and they're churning out these tremendous young champions.
And the bowling is changing. You know, years ago, you had the quote, for lack of a better phrase, the bowling alley bum, you know, that lived at the bowling center and bowled there all the time. And now we're getting college graduates as Snell tries for 3 in a row. Pretty!
Well, whatever Brad Snell worked on in practice, obviously he's implementing that here in the title match.
Brad Snell, 5-step player. Watch the swing. Pretty straight. Little open shoulder, not bad. Extended follow through and deep knee bend there with that left knee. And that's the result. Perfection. But here's the big shot. He's up by 10, and I think on the more difficult of the 2 lanes for him, he can increase it by 20 if he can get out with 1 more strike. Is he going to get up? It did, but it left us off 7. A nice shot.
Brad Snell is obviously bowled under pressure before, Mike. He has 8 PBA regional titles to his credit thus far.
Goes out to about the 3rd or 4th board, comes in, and the ball will deflect. And the 4-pin second from the left just doesn't make it out of the channel to get that 7. Tough spare sometimes. Single pin spare, they can all look pretty small for 43,000. No trouble at all. And Snell is up by 9 pins.
And we're in the championship game. As Mike just mentioned, a 9-pin lead for Brad Snell, but a lot of bowling left.
These are the best weeks to be loading up the car for family vacations and weekend trips. Especially now with the Old Country Dealer's sizzling summer sale and Oldsmobile's Delta 88. It's the family car that didn't forget the family, with lots of trunk space and full-size room and comfort inside. Your Old Country Dealers didn't forget the family either, with great deals on every Delta 88 and Olds in stock. So don't miss the summer savings. Make room for one more. We are Old Country Dealers.
If your old air conditioner is on the way out, or if you're looking for someone to tune up that old cooling system, there's a man you should know. For all your summer cooling needs, call on the man who can, your Comfort Maker man. He can clean your old air conditioner, or he can install a high-efficiency Comfort Maker air conditioner, heat pump, or furnace to fit your budget. Your Comfort Maker man will recommend the exact size unit for your home, and your energy savings will never be greater. Call on the man who can, your Comfort Maker man. His service truck stands ready to roll when you call.
Steelsmith operating on a double in the 2nd and the 3rd, and if he strikes here, would take the lead by a single stick.
And I watched him in between the break there. He walked over, he got a drink of water, he reached for it, the hand was not shaking, he was not nervous. Total confidence, total relaxation, and he's 21 years old.
It's kind of frightening, isn't it?
Well, I asked, is he from Earth? I mean...
No, he's from Wichita.
One to even the match. Leaves the soft 10.
Oh, that was another key shot. One of the finest collegiate bowlers in the country, as we mentioned, the BWAA Collegiate Player of the Year in 1986-87. Also the MVP of the team championships in Wichita State. Boy, have they churned out some tremendous bowlers in the last 10 years, Mike?
Which, you know, every year it seems like they just turn out these good bowlers. Was Jurek from there?
No, West Texas State.
He was from West Texas
State. I'm trying to think.
Wow.
I think.
He had it measured just right.
State. Yep, you're right. Just barely picked off the 10-pin.
Missed one on that lane earlier. As much as we're singing his plaudits, he still trails by 10 pins in this match, and we're almost halfway through.
We can't forget that. Boy, this is a tremendous title match. $215,000 ABC Bud Light Masters Championship.
Boy, he thinks about what he's going to do before he gets up there. And once he gets up there, he takes very little time because he's already made up his mind what he's going to do. Will it hit it? Well, is the 10-pin up there this time? No, I can't quite say from here. I'm not going to make that mistake again.
I know you're not leaning over. No, pretty solid shot there. You know, my dad used to say something. He used to tell me, Danny, get up on the approach and go bowl because you're not going to get up there and find it while you're up there. In other words, if you don't take it up there with you, you're not going to find it anywhere. We don't want slow bowling either, right, Mike? Make up your mind, go up and throw the shot.
Speaking from one of the more speedy bowlers, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Watching you was like an egg timer, remember that? But how can you argue with success? I guess everybody's got their own speed, don't they, Mike, the way they operate?
Right. Yeah. Some people take a lot of time on the approach. The problem is you take a lot of time getting there and then take a lot of time once you're there. Now leading by 11 pins, 5th frame. He's still in this match, ahead by 11.
Brad Snell said his lifetime dream is to win a national championship, and he said, you know what? The ABC Masters is definitely that.
Pretty.
Boy, that 8-pin stood there for or I should say the 9-pin maybe stood there for a second or so.
He's had every ball in the 1-2 pocket, and he did not throw one in the pocket in the practice shots. It just amazes me.
See, he ambushed him, though, Mike. That's the old fake out.
Is that the fake out?
Sure,
you faked me out, I'll tell you.
You get the other guy overconfident, then you come out and flush the first 5.
Well, he can take a 21-pin lead and really put some heat on this young college player right now.
Brad is a pro shop operator in Des Plaines, Illinois, just outside of Chicago, so he lives about 10 minutes from O'Hare Airport.
Is it going to get there? No. The 3.59. Brad Snell from the front. Watch his left knee on the next to the last step. Right here, as he bends it very deep, and as he lets it go, it gets even deeper, kind of accentuated late.
Snell's first tough spare attempt of the title match.
Made it perfectly.
Covered it with a great deal of confidence. He's bowling with a great deal of confidence right now, Mike.
Especially on that right lane, but he's chosen to finish on the left. We should comment that the player above in the standings has the choice of what lane he wants to finish on. And Snell has chosen to finish on lane 27. Steelsmith bowling on lane 28. 2 consecutive spares, trailing by 11 pins.
Oh, that's sheer power, because that ball hit in about the middle of the pocket and just slapped that 10 right out.
That's the old half pocket hit and slaps that weak 10 out, and you can tell when the player has that good finger lift, that's what happens at that particular point. When you don't have it, the 6-pin lays in the channel and doesn't make it out.
We've already mentioned that Rick will be participating on the USA team in the FIQ World Championships June 17th through the 13th in Helsinki. And he'll also represent the U.S. in the Tournament of the Americas in Miami in August.
That's going to finish up, that's a tally bowl in Helsinki, right?
Yep. Finish up a brilliant collegiate career, amateur career, and then turn professional. This one's going to hurry, and it does as he reaches deep down, got a few more revolutions, and that's a key double in the 6th and the 7th.
The high backswing, the finger lift at this point, and wrist turn. The ball comes in light. Watch the head pin go to the sideboard and clean out that 4-5-7. His head got in the way, but it's that same old hit we've seen time and time again.
You watched it till the bitter end, too.
And it's a 1-pin match right now. Snell leading by a pin.
I don't know about you, Mike, but I'm starting to get a little nervous.
Oh, boys, he got that lane wired.
Apparently, these two young gentlemen aren't too concerned about the lights or anything else right here.
Right now, Brad Snell's only concerned with lane 27 because he is just drilling lane 28.
Leads by 1, strike in the 7th. And really, this is a big, big shot. They all are. We always say that. But in the 8th, this key double puts the pressure back on Steelsmith.
Right. The lead is 1 pin. And he can ensure himself of staying ahead, at least for another frame or so, if he can strike here. Here it comes. Oh, another 7-pin. A good shot. Boy, he threw that ball well. It just finishing a little late on lane 27. He has had 1 strike on 27, and that was that light hit in the 2nd frame. And again, he's playing an extreme outside angle out around the 2nd or 3rd board. The ball comes in late behind the head pin, and the 4-pin, 2nd from the left, goes to the sideboard and lays down. Boy, it just missed that 7-pin.
The left-hand lane, the ball seems to be hanging just a touch for the left-handers, and that normally spells corner pin, doesn't it, Mike?
Yes. Tough spare, makes that 7-pin, maintains a 1-pin lead.
That could all change, though, with this key shot for Rick Steelsmith in the 8th as he works on a double right now.
Down by 1, can take a 9-pin lead if he strikes here. Really thinking this one over before he gets up on the approach.
Taking a little extra time, too. Mike has commented time and time again how much poise and gamesmanship Rick Steelsmith has. That's what the collegiate ranks will do for you as well.
There it is. Oh, perfect, perfect. Woo! How can you do that at 21 for $43,000?
Well, the reason why is because he's a business management major, and he understands what money's all about, Mike.
He does. Come on, he said. Yeah.
There he is. What a happening dude.
There's a super party animal. Yeah. His name is Bugs McKenzie. A barbecue inside. A barbecue. And a cold Bud Light. A cold Bud Light. Puts him in a party frenzy. In a party frenzy.
He's Buds McKenzie, Bud Light's original party animal.
Go, Bud, go. Go, Bud, go.
Goes Bud, go.
Bud, you really cooking that.
All right.
America's high school students are doing their best on ESPN's Scholastic Sports America. I'm Chris Fowler. Please join me every Saturday, 6:30 Eastern on ESPN.
Up by 9, can increase it to a commanding 19-pin lead with one more here. He's had every ball in the 1-3 pocket throughout this match.
And threw 8 strikes in the semifinal game.
Oh, boy.
Well, I asked him coming into this tournament, Mike, or I should say, Rick, did you ever really expect to end up bowling for the title? And he just kind of looked at me nonchalantly and said, you know, I knew I was bowling well, and if I just took care of business, things would work out. They have so far, but Brad Snell trying to derail him here.
And Brad Snell is the proverbial back against the wall. He has got to strike 9th frame. His potential 239 if he goes all the way. Gets the 9th one.
That's pressure bowling at its finest there. He's hanging on by his fingernails.
And this is so important to Snell. I mean, he's bowled an excellent game here. He's had every ball in the pocket except the 6th frame where he left the 3-5-9. Left a 7-pin in the 4th frame and a 7-pin in the 8th frame, and he has to strike here. If he strikes here, Dan, then he forces Steelsmith to mark in the 10th frame. If he doesn't strike this first time, Steelsmith is going to be the 1987 Masters champion. A lot of pressure on this ball on a tough lane.
He has really delivered, though. Needs to get this one to hook a little bit at the end.
Oh, a bad break and leaves the 5-pin.
Oh, boy. Boy, that
Sure
was a
could have
good
struck.
shot. Tried to shake the pins loose a little bit, and Mike has mentioned the only strike he had on the left-hand lane was a bit of a shaker early in the match.
Right, and the tendency in that situation, Dan, under pressure is to steer it up high. I mean, but he trusted it all the way. Nice speed, and the ball sure could have struck, and it didn't. He just did not get very many breaks in this championship match. This is the one he had to have to stay in the match, and he really sent it out wide, and it came roaring back at the end. Watch the head pin go to the wall. Hits light in the 1-2 pocket, and the head pin goes to the wall, and the 6 pin just missed the 5. And his reaction is, come on, please, Kerry.
Just a little break is all I need, and your whole life passes right in front of your eyes when something like that happens. Tremendous tournament this week for Brad Snell. And now Rick Steelsmith, as you see him quietly checking the scoreboard to find out exactly what he needs as Snell bows out with a fine 219.
And basically all he needs to do is keep the ball on the lane and stay behind the foul line. He's going at a 238 pace. He can open and shoot in the 220s. But he needs to get some kind of count, some kind of a pin count, and stay behind the foul line.
What a boost for collegiate bowling, huh?
Certainly is.
You consider the Mark McDowells and the Jack Jureks.
Mike Jasnow's
at this point bowling professionally. These are the stars of the future. I should say the stars of today, huh? As Rick Steelsmith finally now realizing that he has just captured the ABC Bud Light Masters, and he is drained, believe me, as a chance of USA come rafting down from upstairs.
Did you see how that ball hit?
Yes, I did. That looked like a John Gant special. Just a buzzsaw. Unbelievable. Rick did not qualify to bowl in the ACUI championships. Figured he'd try the Masters instead. Couldn't beat the college players, but he ends up the best player in the world for the ABC Masters in 1987. And there you see the collegiate contingent there. And a smile on Rick Steelsmith's face.
Well, he had 8 strikes in the first match. If he gets one more here, he's going to have 9 here. He can have 17 strikes out of a possible 24. Well, he gets some experience now.
Yeah. I'm sure all those PBA guys are looking forward to that, huh?
Another one.
Oh, you used to fight off all those young lions, Mike Durbin. Don't give me that excuse.
One more time, and it's a perfect afternoon for a youngster from Wichita, Kansas, as he clinches the Masters, 258 to 219 in one of the most superb bowling exhibitions that anybody has seen in a long, long time. And boy, what a future he has. We'll be back with a final word right after this.
Hi, I'm Wayne Angelo, sales manager for Wolf Ford in Lancaster. A Newsweek survey tells us that when you start looking to buy a car or truck, you will shop 3 to 5 dealers. We think one of those should be Wolf Ford. In addition to excellent prices and more for your trade, we have very low pressure, but highly knowledgeable salespeople to help you. At Wolf Ford, we make less profit on each vehicle, but we sell more. It's the American way. It's the Wolf Ford way. Try us.
The Dall Sheep, when he competes, he goes all out. And so does Genesee Beer. When it comes to quality, Jenny holds nothing back. All the zest of the great outdoors is yours in Genesee.
The great outdoors in a glass, Genesee Beer.
Genesee kept the beer taste in their light beer. There's no doubt about it. It's the best beer taste in any light beer I've ever tasted. I still don't believe this is light beer.
And there you see him, the 1987 ABC Bud Light Masters champion, 22-year-old Rick Steelsmith, who bowled collegiately at Wichita State. You've obviously got some fans on hand here in Niagara Falls, but Rick, one question. What was going through your mind heading into the title match? Did you feel comfortable and confident?
I felt comfortable and confident in both. I just wanted to go out and try to make the best possible shots that I could, and anything that happened beyond that was out of my control. I just wanted to make the best shots that I possibly could.
Yeah, and now that you made some great shots, we're going to have Dave Brunette stand in at this point, representing Bud Light, to present you with something I'm sure you're going to look favorably on in many years to come.
Thank you. Rick, on behalf of Bud Light, we'd like to present you with the winning check in the amount of $43,500 for winning this year's ABC Bud Light Masters. Congratulations.
Thank you very
Great
much.
job.
I'd like to also thank American Bowling Congress and Bud Light for hosting the event. It was great all week. The fans were great. This is a dream come true for me.
And speaking of the American Bowling Congress, let's bring in the president of the ABC, Mr. Ed Sweeney, who has a gorgeous trophy to present to you, Rick Steelsmith.
Yeah, Rick, congratulations on behalf of the 3.7 million members of the American Bowling Congress. We also send our congratulations. Let me present the trophy.
Thank you very much. Oh, gosh, this is a dream.
He's obviously very excited. Thank you very much, Ed Sweeney. An outstanding tournament. Let me bring in Mike Durbin. Mike, your thoughts about a 22-year-old kid coming in and winning the Masters?
Well, we watched him play last night, and we knew that this young man was going to be a potential winner today. He came out and did it today. I have one question for you. Are you really as calm as you appear to be?
No. I was trying to fight off the nerves the whole time. I went over and during the breaks and tried to take some drinks and couldn't even get the glass to my mouth. So, God, I was nervous, that's for sure.
Well, I know you were a business manager or a management major at Wichita State, but you might start to move to the accounting at this point because you've got a lot more money on your hands.
Yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to get enough out of this to go ahead and sponsor myself. I'm planning on starting on the tour in January. And this will be a good start. Hopefully I can go ahead and do it on my own.
And, of course, he'll be participating as a member of Team USA in the FIQ Championships coming up just a couple of weeks in Finland. Exciting tournament. Mike Durbin, thanks for your commentary here this afternoon. Our champion of the 1987 ABC Bud Light Masters Championship, 22-year-old Rick Steelsmith out of Wichita, Kansas. And goodbye, everybody. From Niagara Falls, this has been a presentation of Bud Sports through the facilities of ES.